Live from Dallas-Fort Worth, this is WFAA News.
It is a tale of two teams, a disastrous season finale for the Cowboys as TCU looks to stun the college football world, hoping to nab that national title tonight. Thank you so much for joining us this midday. I'm Cleo Green. We start with Frog Fever. Purple spotted all over North Texas today as TCU goes for gridiron glory, looking to take down the reigning champs, the Georgia Bulldogs, in the college football championship. It's all taking place at the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, where we find our Marc Istook this morning.
Well, it is just hours to go until arguably the biggest game in TCU football history. Kickoff at SoFi Stadium, the Frogs versus the Dogs. And look, I'm a TCU fan. I have been loving this season, but it has been magical for the entire city of Fort Worth and North Texas in general. There's just something special in the air this year. Maybe it's the Hypnotoad, I'm not sure, but it was certainly palpable yesterday in Santa Monica. It was a purple-packed pep rally on the pier as Frog fans from all over the country descended on Southern California, getting ready for tonight's big game. You had the cheerleaders, you had Super Frog, you had the TCU band, and you really had to see it to believe it. I still am blown away by just how there were fans as far as the eye could see. But all that excitement, all that energy, it means big things, not just for the Frogs, but for Fort Worth as well.
I just was talking to the mayor of Santa Monica, and I told Gleam I'm really sorry because our entire city has descended upon Santa Monica. But I think it's just reflective of how excited this is for the entire city. This is our team, and today and tomorrow will be obviously incredibly rewarding for all the hard work put into these awesome players and the coach.
Is there some moment that stands out for you in this whole thing that you will always look back and really remember this event by?
Oh, man. I mean, I've been crying for I'm not a crier, but I've cried 100 times in the last 2 weeks. I think the most magical moment was probably standing there when we won the Fiesta Bowl, knowing that we were coming here. Yeah. It was incredible.
Speaking of tears of joy, I was at that Rose Bowl game. I cried tears of joy that night, too. But what struck me most about that experience was not just what it meant for TCU and the football program. It's what it meant for the city of Fort Worth. It was a chance for the city to show up. A lot of pride in Fort Worth and across North Texas as well. And you think about how many people went into that success both then and now. You look at head coach Sonny Dykes, you look at Gary Patterson, you look at the chancellor, you look at the players, the support staff, not this year, but going back decades. So it's a big opportunity for the Frogs tonight on a national stage. The Frogs versus the Dogs. Who will take home that title? We'll find out at 6:30. Back to you.
Marc, thank you. Speaking of this matchup between TCU and Georgia, it's not the first time we're seeing them on the field against one another. The national championship will mark the 5th time these two teams have come face to face. The first meeting 80 years ago at the 1942 Orange Bowl, and it wasn't until nearly 40 years later when they played again. And then the most recent game was in 2016 at the Liberty Bowl. In all 4 meetings, the Frogs, they lost. So hopefully tonight, it is a different story.